Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys win revive season in 33-16 blowout of Raiders. Dallas came into Monday Night Football with a ton on their hearts and minds. They responded to the moment with a 33-16 beatdown of the Las Vegas Raiders for the first Cowboys win in nearly a month. The win came in their first game since both the tragic passing of Marshawn Kneyland and the organization's decision to trade for reinforcements before the deadline. I had expected the team to play with a ton of energy tonight. They far surpassed that expectation. We saw the most energetic and motivated version of this team tonight, and it paid off in a major way. Offensively, defensively, and on special teams, these guys showed up with some very bright lights on them. Brian Schottenheimer and the Dallas offense scared every fan possible to start this game, as both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were benched for the opening drive due to a coach's decision. This resulted in an ugly 3-and-out. As bad as that was, things only got worse as Dak Prescott lost a fumble on their second drive. Was it a terrible start? Yes, absolutely. Was that also the end of Dallas's offensive struggles? You better believe it. After those two drives, the Cowboys scored on 5 consecutive possessions, including one Brandon Aubrey field goal, and 4 passing touchdowns from Prescott. Dallas's quarterback dominated all night long. Aside from the quarterback, the Cowboys' 2-star wide receivers shined brightest, with Pickens reeling in 9 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown, and Lamb scoring on a 56-yard night. Javonte Williams, Jake Ferguson, Ryan Flournoy, and many more had strong nights as well. If anybody is complaining about Dallas's offense tonight, they just don't know ball. As good as the offense was, the story of this game might just be the defensive revival we all witnessed over these past few hours. The Dallas D did not allow a touchdown until the fourth quarter, and they forced 3 punts and an interception on the 7 drives before that. The remaining 3 drives were field goals made by Daniel Carlson. There is no debating the star of the unit, however, as newly acquired All-Pro Quinnen Williams dominated from start to finish. The former New York Jet finished with 1.5 sacks and 5 quarterback hits. It was easily the best by the Cowboys defense in the 2025 NFL season. Who knows if it will continue as the season goes on, but this new-look defense made one heck of a debut. All 3 units, offense, defense and special teams, came up huge in a much-needed and very emotional win for the Dallas Cowboys in Week 11. We can only hope that this victory, which the teams so clearly channeled as they processed their grief, helps them find some peace. The team moves to 4-5-1 and will face the Eagles at home next Sunday. That game, the first at AT&T Stadium since Kneyland's death, will be another chance for the team to memorialize such a bright, young light with their play. Cowboys explain tough decision to bench CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. For the Cowboys, it is an understatement to say there has been a lot to deal with lately. Of course, on the field, the team has not played very well and entered its bye week with a loss to the Cardinals, dropping them to 3-5-1. On the roster, the team went through a wild fluctuation, adding 2 new starters via trade, and 3 more players off IR. And there was, most important and most impactful, the tragic suicide of teammate Marshawn Kneyland. Coach Brian Schottenheimer was tested, and appeared to be the right guy to help his team with its emotions, while also turning the focus back to football. But another challenge presented itself to Schottenheimer before the Cowboys returned to the field for their impressive 33-16 victory over the Raiders in Las Vegas. Schottenheimer said star receivers CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens both missed some things, presumably team meetings, that required discipline. Schottenheimer made the decision to bench both players for the Cowboys' opening series. After the game, Schottenheimer explained the Cowboys' decision. "It's tough. I made a coach's decision," he said. "I had a conversation with those guys, there were some things that were missed and so I had a conversation with those guys, and that was easy. But once on the field, Both Lamb and Pickens were outstanding. They combined for 14 catches, 210 yards and 2 touchdowns as the Cowboys' offense looked like the early season version of itself. Said Schottenheimer, "You look at the energy those guys played with, literally, they jump-started the offense when they got back in there. They didn't hang their heads, they didn't do any of that stuff, and that's why I love those guys, man. This was a great team win." As for Lamb and Pickens, all Schottenheimer would say about their violations that led to the initial benching in the Cowboys' win was, couple things missed. Jaguars release former two-time Super Bowl champion. Cowboys could be his next destination. While the production hasn't been paid off, the Jacksonville Jaguars will cut veteran defensive tackle Colin Saunders, who will now become a free agent if he hasn't cleared waivers. According to several reports, it's no surprise that the Jaguars will move since the veteran didn't perform up to the standards that the team had hoped. However, Saunders barely had any playing time, so it was a bit of a head-scratcher as to why they traded for him in August to boost the defensive line. The 29-year-old logged just 25 snaps, so teams who might look into him might not offer him the best contract, but one that fits within their budget. The good news is that Saunders has a chance to join a contender before the playoffs start in January. The Jaguars are probably making a bid in the wild card, but several talented teams could use a depth guy like Saunders. Originally selected in the third round of the 2018 NFL Draft, the former Western Illinois product isn't the same powerful defensive player down the middle, but he's still reliable in situational moments. Saunders should be able to find a new home after Week 11, and here are one team that could acquire him. At 4-5-1, the Dallas Cowboys aren't necessarily out of the playoff picture. This is why they made a trade for Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson for defensive help. With Kenny Clark struggling, they could use some depth behind him, especially to fill in the gap for Solomon Thomas. The good news is that the Cowboys have a ton of depth at the defensive tackle position, but Saunders may be the missing puzzle to have a ferocious true blitz unit. What do you think? Like, comment your opinion and subscribe to the channel. See you later.